hadn't really seen a reliable Frost Mage tutorial, so here goes. Basically, you're gonna want haste up to 40%. After that, you'll start seeing diminishing returns. Mage, probably tutorial. I mean, ideally, you'd want 35% crit. I mean, you'd want it to that way whenever you're shattering, you'll be at like 95 or something like that. But it's actually pretty useful to have your frost bolts crit. So if they do crit, then you'll get this buff right here, and it'll stack to 3 times. You aren't really taking advantage of this until you don't have runes, but it's pretty useful because it gives you like 60%, which is that buff comes from chain reaction, which is yeah, it's pretty useful. So anyway, the gist of this, after I tap out a setting real quick. Alright. So we'll cancel the scout real quick. Now, your basic rotation is obviously that. You do actually, if you don't have any of these cooldowns, like your Frozen Orbit, your Ebb and Bolt, all this shit. If you don't have any of that, then obviously you're going to be casting Frostbolt and Blizzard. Use that. Preferably you don't want to throw Ice Lances until you have 3 stacks, but you can if it looks like it's going to overstack. That's the gist of that. Most of your damage is going to rely on how much damage you can fit into a rune. So, okay, yeah. But I can start from the opener. I'm not very good at talking while I'm doing my rotation, but I do my best here. I have proc trinkets. So, I'm going to start with a flurry. Some would say start with a frostball, but I mean, I guess it's up to you. So, it's more just a preference thing. But as soon as I get done with my flurry, I'm going to toss out my frozen orb, and then throw down my frost bomb on top of my target, and then throw a rune down, and then throw my icy veins up. The opener basically looks like this. There you go. You just spam through as many ice lances as you can get through. Then, in between these, you can actually throw down another wizard. And then throw your Ebb Bolt, throw more of these. That was an accidental one. When you have a lot of haste, you gotta actually kind of be careful of not accidentally throwing 2 ice lances when you're not supposed to. So here's the dead part of your rotation, right? Most of the time you're gonna be throwing a blizzard down just to have it. A lot of these times right here, I won't even throw my frost bomb up. Once I get like 1 more proc, or if I have 2 stacks of this, then I will. And that's your dead downtime rotation, basically. And you generally want to go, which I've been using Thermal Void. This is going to be a little bit disorganized, so you'll have to. I mean, I can go back and try to clear some stuff up later if people want me to do that. So, you will kind of have to play with the rotation yourself. But another good, it's a lot of people have some issues getting used to using Blizzard in single target rotation. But a pretty useful way to do that is you'll just be doing your normal shit, right? And then if you know you're about to throw down your rune, you can just throw this blizzard down, throw a frostbomb up, and then there you go. And a lot of times, you can even hold on to your whatever that proc's called, brain freeze. You can hold on to that if you want, especially while your rune's up, because mostly you're gonna be relying on your icy, whatever they're called, finger frosts. You're going to be relying on that for most of your damage, so you don't really need, and you won't be casting many frost bolts unless you have your water jet up. So you can hold on to that if you're not going to be casting frost bolts, especially in your opener. You're only going to be casting pretty much only ice lances. So it's useful to just hang on to that because your ice lances are going to give you more damage than that most of the time. I mean, if you have a chance, you can just throw it, but if you're worried about what to do with that, you can have that sit there for a while, especially if you know you're going to be casting more frostbolts. So then you can stack up your little whatever that buff's called. It stacks up to 3 times and gives you damage. So here I can hold this. I have 2 here. It's about to go down, so I'll just go ahead and throw my, and you'll get a little bit more damage on your ice lances. So I don't know. This is kind of a I don't know, like kind of a slapdash guide. I just hadn't really seen any tutorials with reliable information because a lot of people aren't playing Frostmage, which it does. I mean, it can do comparable damage to fire. It's just it has a lot higher skill cap. You're gonna really need to work through this rotation yourself and to figure out when your cooldowns are coming up and when you need to. I don't know when you're gonna be relying on procs, and every tiny little bit of progress that you make will give you just a little bit more damage in rotation. So I don't know. I hope this is helpful. I guess I could run through the. We'll do the opener, and I'll try to run through some. And I missed my. A lot of times I'll keep my keep storing icicles even when I'm at 3, but most of the time when I'm at 3 I'm just gonna instantly throw that off. But if I know I've got time on my icy veins, I'm just gonna wait for my rune to come up so I can get a little bit more effective damage out of it. And here I'll probably lose my icy veins before I get a chance to orb. Yeah. I'm still not even doing this perfectly, but I just felt like and again, if you really don't even want to use your orb unless you have a chance to get 3, maybe 3 or 4 ice lances into it. So, I mean, it's just something you have to work with. Like I said, I'm still not doing it perfectly, but I'm hoping this gives people a pretty good idea of where your damage is coming from. We'll use Blizzard if you have nothing else, and then generally want to have one down as your rune goes up, and you want to have a frost bomb up as your rune goes up because that's when you're going to be fishing for as many procs as possible. As I'm not sure if I've missed anything, but ideally my stats aren't even perfect here, but this build does competitive damage with my fire spec, which is extremely geared, and so I don't know. Well, there you go. That's all your stuff, and hopefully this is helpful. I'll see you guys later.